ran a personal best at 6:40. Turns the wheel in.
Hi folks, and welcome to Ssangyong Speedweek, another great all-Kiwi show for you this week. We open with round 2 of the Armour Cup New Zealand Offshore Powerboat Series from Maraetai. Then we travel to Powerboat Ruapuna in Christchurch for the Scope Classic, with coverage of the Flexiplast New Zealand Express Formula 5000s and the muscle cars. We start with the offshore powerboats from Maraetai. Round 2 of the Armour Cup Series was held in almost perfect conditions, and a huge crowd gathered on the beach to watch the action. Round 2 of the Armour Cup Offshore Powerboat Series was held at Maraetai Beach, just south of Auckland. A beautiful summer's day in Auckland, flat conditions, and not what the boys from the FMI team were looking for.
We'd like it very, very rough. So yeah, we're going to be doing a wind dance very shortly to try and get this wind up.
We had our dramas last week, and it was a good test for the team, and actually it was a fantastic confidence builder for us, to be honest. The team came through, we got across the line, but we're looking for a bit more speed here today, so we've fixed all the problems that we've had, and we're looking at having a very, very good scrap with Addictive. They might still be a wee bit faster than us, but we're hoping that we'll at least be able to give them a run for their money.
Addictive's Grant Smith had his own problems.
We have one motor that's not firing at all, but we just flooded it, so we're just trying to clear it now, so hopefully we'll get it sorted.
What's not even starting?
Yeah, no, it's just fine.
Second in round number 1 in Taupo was Craig Archer and Peter Turner in Sleepyhead.
Well, a bit like Taupo, really. It's not really our ideal water, but it's just one of those things. Salt water is a lot different than the lake water, so yeah, hopefully we'll get a bit more speed out of it today than Taupo. It is hot, and inside those enclosed cockpits, under the race suits, that cockpit gets up to 50 degrees in there sometimes, and yeah, we just throw a lot of water over ourselves and try and keep ourselves cool, but it doesn't make for pleasant conditions.
The team to beat was the Placemakers team of Wayne Carson and Richard Shawes.
Well, hopefully we'd like to go as well as we did last week. So at Taupo, we had a good run there. The boat's running well, and we've done a few minor modifications to it in the 3 weeks in between, and hopefully we'll be there at the finish. It's obviously going to be a flat race and a fast race, so, which will suit the outboard guys, I think.
Looking to make up for a costly DNF at Taupo was Wayne and Grant Velder.
Good start. Led the first 5 laps, and unfortunately we screwed all the gears up in one drive, and really disappointing for our crew, and they've worked really hard the last couple of weeks, and the States came through with some spare parts for us, and thankfully we're up and running today. Bit stressful, but look, it's coming together. I mean, the weather's just superb. A little bit calm today for the offshore boats, but we're going to see some good speed out there today, and everything's just gelled together. Marvellous.
Making a full commitment to the series this year was Auckland's Mike Cameron. In his boat, More Living.
It was built by Scott Lane. It's Linden. We bought the plans off the original Musketeer from Tom Manville. It's got a blown big block Chev in it, number 3 leg on the back, and a 2-speed transmission. And it seems to handle fairly well and do what it's meant to do, so I can't ask for more than that.
In Formula Honda, first blood was drawn by H9 Light Industries with Chris Bartlett and Mike Urquhart.
Oh, it just comes down to the driver. Got quite a good start and just held them off. So that's all. They're all identical. Same motors, same propellers, same engine heights.
And there's a big field of them now.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, I think there's might be 14 today.
Well, as you can see, perfect conditions here at Maraetai for round 2 of the Armour Cup Racing for Cure Kids New Zealand Offshore Powerboat Championship. And you see the flare has gone up, so within minutes of the start, you're on board with the start boat here as they wind up these big Class A powerboats over 100 miles an hour. Glass-like conditions on the Waitemata Harbour, and there is the huge fleet of the Sport 60s and the Formula Honda boats. 14 Formula Honda boats here today at Maraetai, but it is the New Zealand superboats that will be focusing on, and a great start there from Fairview Doors and Windows, and this is the old FMI team, Warren and Scott Lewis, got out in front. You heard them say they don't like the conditions at all. Their boat is designed for much rougher conditions than this. There is Jesse James, the oldest boat in the fleet, but certainly one of the fastest. And watch too for placemakers. They had a resounding win at Taupo in round number 1, and they'll be looking to repeat the dose here in round number 2. Well, they said that powerboat racing was all about action, and that's what we've got here, as that is the Lewis brothers about to be swamped by the bigger horsepower boats of placemakers with the 2 650 horsepower Buick V8s and Sleepyhead with the 2 big block 525 cubic inch Chevy Mercruiser motors. Placemakers out in front. They'll be hitting speeds of well over 100 miles an hour in the glass-like conditions here at Maraetai. Similar conditions to what we saw in Taupo. They don't really favour boat number 44, that is Peter Turner and Craig Archer and Sleepyhead, but they do favour boat number 10, and that is Jesse James. The oldest boat in the fleet, as we told you, it's a Chris Craft, 30 feet in length. But look at the progress being made here by Fairview Doors and Windows. This is Warren and Scott Lewis in just their second season of offshore powerboating. Now, they said they didn't like the conditions, but they're leading for the moment. And here comes Grant Smith and Dave Aldridge in Addictive. So maybe it's going to maybe be better for the Superboat Lights category. Of course, that is the old 3 to 6 litre FIM category, renamed here in New Zealand. Number 44 is Sleepyhead, and you're on board with Craig Archer and Peter Turner here as they work their way up into the top end of the course now. A multi-lap course, as we always see in the Armour Cup Offshore Powerboat Series, but the conditions, well, they are perfect. Out in the front, it is Warren and Scott Lewis, Fairview Doors and Windows. It's a 32-foot skater hull powered by 2 300 horsepower Mercury outboards, and they have got a race on their hands here. And look how close they come to the shore here at Maraetai, right down on the beachfront. That's why there's a big crowd here, enjoying the fantastic conditions and enjoying the close quarters racing. So it is Fairview Doors and Windows. Sleepyhead is there as well. So too is this boat. This is Perry Morris and Bevan Antonelli in New Zealand Privateer. It's the ex-Ted Titini boat that Perry took delivery of partway through last season after the demise of his original boat Supercat at the Thames round. And this is the shot from on board as they get very close to the boat club. That is the headquarters for the event here. It's round 2 of the Armour Cup Offshore Powerboats, and the big boys are dicing it out bow to bow. Races within races out here as well, of course. The 60-mile race, you'll see the likes of More Living, that's Will Be Late, that's Tim Fellows and Kevin Ireland. Also racing with them, there are the Formula Honda boats. The ones to look for is Light Industries H9, that's Chris Bartlett and Mike Urquhart. They won the first round in Taupo. Chris Bartlett designed the boats. Mike Urquhart has a huge pedigree in offshore powerboats, and he's done a little bit of Honda racing because he co-drove with Greg Brink in a couple of the races last season.